Morning, everybody. Chris Allen here on the Sam channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Yeah, I'm running a bit late this morning. What is it? 8:45. Phew, a lot late this morning. Haven't felt my best today. Just you know, sinuses and headaches and all that other kind of stuff. So I took a little bit longer to sleep in this morning, but I didn't want to let you go without knowing what the weather is today. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting setup here. One that is to bring us a little of this and a little of that. It is going to be not all snow, it appears like the last one. And second of all, this system is not going to linger as long as the previous system. So, therefore, for those two reasons, not as much snow. Okay. Anytime you have mixed precipitation, that's going to cut down on your snow numbers. And because it's a fast moving system, that's going to cut down on your snow numbers. So, for those of you that wanted a lot more snow, that's not going to happen. But as you see at the bottom there, the crawl winter weather advisory in effect for today, tonight, and for Friday. That's just going to continue to be a thing because it's just one of those setups that is going to bring us kind of a variety of things here. So I don't want you to focus just on snow. In fact, once you get into a situation where you get a little bit of ice or the potential for a glaze on the roadways, that's always worse than snow as far as, just getting around and things like that. So I want you to focus on that and less on snow chances. So here is the current radar as of 8:40 this morning Central Time. The radar is wanting to pick up. Now this is a composite, so it's not only picking up one radar site, but the three that are close by, and it's putting this all together. And when the beams go up and hit station, it's coming back, showing it maybe snow, but the pink shaded areas would indicate that there's a mix, maybe some little ice pellets or sleet, maybe some freezing rain that's in there, depending on temperature. And here's where you have to take into account the temperature that's above us and the temperature on the ground. So that could mean the difference between what is falling up here and is it melting and then refreezing when it hits the cold ground. And in some cases, that's what's going to happen today. And therefore, the winter advisory. It's not necessary for snow accumulation. So just enough warm air, a layer of warm air in there to make this where it could be a little of this and a little of that. So different precipitation types are certainly possible. Now, uh, most of this I can tell you just based on what I've looked at it, the amount of moisture that's in the air, very dry. So a lot of this is up there but hasn't reached ground yet. It's got to come through a lot of dry air. So somebody might be seeing a little something right now, but most of this is not reaching the ground at this point. It take a lot longer before it reaches the ground. So don't be alarmed by this that you see on the radar. It's returns that we're seeing, reflectivity, but it's got to come through a lot of dry air before it actually reaches the ground. So some of this is falling, but then it's melting or just fading away before it reaches the ground. So that's what we're seeing right now as of again 8:50 this morning from the radar sites. We do have that winter weather advisory as mentioned. That's going to be today, tonight, and even early tomorrow morning because this is going to come in two waves. First wave will come through today and then a secondary wave tonight and early Friday. That's the one that we think will be all snow, because then it's going to draw in a lot colder air, much colder air that's going to come through. And that's going to make a difference in the precipitation type. And by, excuse me, again, I apologize. Um, that's going to make all the difference in the world, uh, because the columns of air will be saturated with a little more moisture, and a lot of the dry air will be gone. And then much colder air coming in with that second wave, which should make it all snow. But even then, you got to go back to what I first said. This is a fast moving system. It's not going to have time to linger. It's not going to have time to throw down several inches of snow. It's just not going to happen. So let's move on to the temperatures. Here is the Kentucky Mesonet Network this morning, and seeing a lot of teens out east and a few here in the middle, like Hart County, you're at 19 at the moment. And then the usual cold spot, Burkesville, Cumberland County near the river, 13.6, or rounded up to 14. Everybody else is in the mid to even upper 20s this morning. Let's see about the wind here. Current winds are from the south, 5 to 10. So let's see how that affects the wind chill. Yeah, it makes it feel more like it's in the upper teens to low 20s. It doesn't shave off a lot, the wind this morning. It's not as breezy. So you should be okay. Just dress as you normally would dress the last couple of days, although that southerly wind today, and that's why we've got that little piece of warm air coming in, just enough warm air to make this interesting as a precipitation mix instead of all rain or all snow. We're right there in between. We're going to be up to 32. Well, that's the freezing mark. We may get 33. Uh, if that's the case, then you're going to have all kinds of different precipitation types and not just one or the other. So it makes it sometimes these are the times it makes it more difficult to predict what's going to happen. Okay. Test 1 2. Is this thing working? Okay. It's just like, whoo, it's all up here. Many of you know what I'm talking about. It just, this weather doesn't help. Okay. Now I have my faculties in order. Uh, see, this is showing 34 for a high today. That may be pushing it, but it's possible. In that case, it would be mostly rain or a mix, but then we're going to get down to 20 tonight as that next shot of cold air and the second wave comes in. Well, then, yes, then it would be all snow. But by that time, the second wave comes in, a lot of this thing is going to be almost done. By tomorrow morning, this will be done. So there may not be enough time to add, 2, 3, 4 inches of snow on top of what we already have. Maybe an inch, maybe close to an inch. It all depends on when the changeover will happen from top to bottom. That's the key. That's anything could change in between and totally mix this up. So again, it's hard to pin down, but just know that I think we could see a few more icy, spotty, glazy spots around come later this afternoon for the drive home, and tonight and early tomorrow morning, especially with a little layer of snow on top of it. Because we're only going to get up to 26 tomorrow. There's that next shot of Arctic air. The sun will come out maybe late day or maybe not at all tomorrow because of the leftovers of that second wave. Then we go only 19 after a low of 5 on Saturday. Saturday, we will see some sun, but it's going to be bone chilling cold with a layer of some of that ice, whatever icy stuff we get, and then the layer of snow on top of it. just enough to make it, it doesn't take much, less than a tenth of an inch or even half of a tenth of an inch. And it can cause that ice, that glaze to be on top of what you've got out here right now. See, there's the issue. And it could be a situation to where, you think, well, there's a layer of snow there, everything's good. And then once you remove that snow, then there's the icy layer, and then you're in trouble. That's why I'm saying there could be some issues with travel. Impact. There's going to be some impact with this, even though it's a low end type situation. We're Sunday looks sunny, near 30, but after a low of 3 Sunday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning. Then we get up to finally well above freezing as we head into Monday, mostly sunny, 44 after starting at 18 that morning. But look at this warming trend. I mean, this is pretty significant. Normal high temperature this time of the year is 46, 45, 46. We're going to be well above that. Look at this. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, next week, and possibly through the end of January. This takes us all the way to the 28th. And look at those temperatures, 50s, 60s, lows only in the 40s. That's a big change. And I figured that with this change, there was going to be something going on with my sinuses and upper respiratory and all of that. It's got me already. But look, I mean, some of us are going to be like, oh boy, that's going to be crazy. And it's going to rain. There's going to be rain chances coming in with that. Not snow. It's going to be way too warm for any snow. So, yeah, the doctors are going to be happy, aren't they? Yeah, just write me up a prescription. Let me go. Okay, let's check the maps here. I don't want to keep you too long. Uh, here we are. Current situation does not show a whole lot going on here, but it's coming. It's gathering. You can see it here. The maps may be just a little bit behind, but what I showed you on radar isn't actually hitting the ground yet. This is the stuff that'll hit the ground. A mix, some sleet, freezing rain, rain, snow, then over to, it looks like, a period of freezing rain, sleet, and some snow, depending on where you are. Even some freezing fog back toward the Mississippi River overnight tonight as the system blows through. Then mostly snow. I mean, there's a hole here missing because some of the excuse me, some of the forecast grids have not been updated as of this showing. But I do think we'll get that quick hit of snow overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning, and then it's out of here by about midday tomorrow, late morning to midday. And then here we go. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Into Friday night, into Saturday, and then everything looks good after that. High pressure is in control. And here's why we're going to warm up. That center of high pressure, even though it's an Arctic high, it's going to move further east, and that will allow us a warmer flow from the south and southwest as we get into Sunday, into Monday. And then here's the next system. Now, this one, it's got all the pretty colors of the rainbow in it as well. So there's going to be some rain. There's going to be freezing rain. There's going to be sleet. There's going to be snow and, well, ice pellets mixed in, freezing rain, sleet, and rain further to the north. Temperatures to start on Monday, but then in the Monday afternoon and evening, it all goes to rain, and a pretty good rain. I think we'll get, you know, a decent rainfall out of this, which would melt, it would melt everything that's still sticking around at that point. But then we could have some localized, maybe flooding issues or at least high water. The ground is going to be well soaked because of the snowpack melting plus the rain on top of it. So we'll keep an eye on this as we get into Monday, Tuesday, next week, even into Wednesday, still raining. There's the system, a little bit slower, a little more rainier system for everybody. Look at that, all green, except for maybe a higher elevation in eastern Kentucky. And it's not really, even though it's not painted in here, even into Thursday next week, we're still going to have rain. The system stalls a bit, slows down enough. It's not stalled, but close to it. So, yeah, there you go. We're going to just flip the script from winter to a very spring like system. Whether there will be thunderstorms or not, soon to say. I don't see a lot of convection going on right now, but of course that could change. All right, let's take a look just finally at the briefing from the National Weather Service. Here they explain the two waves. System one this afternoon, mix of freezing rain and snow across southern Kentucky. That's us. Some rain along the Tennessee Kentucky border. That's a little further south of Bowling Green. Then wave number two hits tonight, initially as some freezing rain before changing over to all snow. 1 to 2 inches snow possible, especially east of I 65. And that's taking in what they're saying there is mostly central Kentucky, the bluegrass. Here, I'm going to say maybe an inch. Maybe. It all depends on when can we switch modes from the mixy stuff to just snow. That's still a big question mark. Tomorrow, lingering light snow, cloudy, accumulations in the bluegrass, as I mentioned, wind chills in the teens and single digits. The coldest part of the system will be Saturday into Saturday night, early Sunday. Wind chill values, again, talking -2 to -12 Saturday morning. That's going to be the really coldest part system. Um, the impacts, you can see it's more centered into central Kentucky and eastern Kentucky. Well, we're just expecting some minor stuff here. Now, you may be thinking, okay, with freezing rain and some ice, isn't there going to be stress on the power lines? Are we talking about an ice situation? No, we're not. This would just be a very, very thin glaze, not the kind that you see hanging off of power lines and trees. There may be a little accretion of ice, but not much. It's not going to be here long enough for that to happen, but just enough, like I said, 1/100th of an inch, maybe, um, with a little pack of snow on top of it, underneath or over the pack of snow that we already have. So you've got the old snow, a little glaze, and then any new snow. It's going to be layered like that. Once we get into tomorrow morning, and that's the issue. So it's not going to be ice storm stuff, even though we're talking about freezing rain and sleet with a little snow for us. Higher chances, though, central and east. So here's the breakdown of, other precipitation versus snow. Ice accumulation, as I mentioned, look at that. Maybe 300ths, not 3/10. 3/10 would change this altogether. 3/10 of an inch of ice would be a problem, but we're talking 300ths, even smaller for much of southern Kentucky. And it could be a combination of freezing rain, which is rain that comes down, freezes on contact, or it could be sleet, which is just the ice pellets coming down. That's what we're going to see this afternoon, tonight. And then as the second wave comes in tomorrow, or late tonight, early tomorrow, the colder air will change it over to snow, 0 to maybe an inch for Bowling Green. a trace to 2 inches in Campbellsville. You see it goes up, and then the darker blues. I-75 corridor is where they're going to get another 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches of new snow. And they're going to see less of this, less of the icy stuff. So that's how this all parses out. So that's why it's a complicated forecast. Hopefully I broke it down where you can understand it. So just keep all that in mind. If you're watching right now, you're already at work. It's after 9 o'clock now. Just know that by the time you drive home, if we've saturated the atmosphere, lower atmosphere enough, then you're going to start to see those radar returns actually mean something. And if it's all the different colors, then look out. You could have a little glaze of ice, especially bridges and overpasses as you drive home this afternoon. The snow may wait until later. It just depends on how soon that much colder air, that second wave, when it comes in, what it's going to do. But otherwise, it is going to be a little touch and go for some of you. And some of you are still dealing with what you dealt with the other day, and your back roads are still covered. I know I was out yesterday when the sun was shining, and there's still some back roads that have still have not seen any sunshine. And so they were still covered and slick. So we're going to add to the slickiness in some cases. So anyway, I've talked too long. 21 minutes, 22 minutes. Sorry. And I've struggled all the way through this, but I'm trying to get enough rest and med up to be on TV tonight, hopefully. So in the meantime, winter weather advisory, high today 32. Just expect all kinds of stuff to go on the next 24 hours. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.